Hey everybody, it's Dr. Butler. I just wanted to take a few moments to come to you with 15 quick tips on how to be an effective counselor online. Now that this COVID-19 has happened, I've had several friends come to me and ask, how do you do counseling? I have the unique opportunity of working for an online virtual school, and so all of my students are in a virtual setting. We don't have a brick and mortar school building. They are either homeschool or independent study. And so all of my services with them are through an online format. And so right quickly, I'm going to share just 15 quick tips to remember when you are engaging with students in those virtual settings. So obviously you'll want to think about confidentiality, and you'll want to present that and what that looks like in a virtual setting. You'll want to invite parents or guardians into that first meeting so that they can become familiar with what your format is and what the expectations are of the student and timing within that setting. Because it's so new to everybody, just ensure that the parents are there so that you can answer any questions that they may have. It's also a good idea to use PowerPoint, giving those students the visual. You don't have to necessarily show your face on the screen, but if they have that visual of a PowerPoint, that's always helpful for them, because that helps with number 4, which is engagement. Engagement is the key, but in order to be engaged, you've got a number 5, know your audience. So take time out beforehand to find out a little bit about the students that you'll be engaging with so that you can provide them with PowerPoints that are appropriate for their needs. But in so doing, you'll want to make sure that you're remaining flexible, because everything's happening day to day. We don't know what's happening in the lives of our students, and we want to make sure that we give them opportunity to express themselves in case we've got to go off script with perhaps being active in helping them to reach their IEP goals. Right now, we need to make sure that we're allowing them to express themselves as needed. Offer them choices. Again, that's part of that engagement piece. You want to make sure you're also reviewing goals, reviewing objectives, and reviewing your outcomes for them, because unlike being able to see that student on a school campus and going into the classroom and checking in on them, you'll need to provide them with those things each time you meet. Follow up with any resources that you can email to them, or if you have access to mail students packages with information, then you can do that also, or printouts rather than packages. Also, make time for individual planning, and it does take a lot of time to plan those PowerPoints for all of your students. I have about 20 plus students that I service through counseling, and so planning out those individual lessons and being very unique with the needs of each of my students does take time, so kind of keep that in mind. Also, you'll want to make sure, again, because we're not on a school campus, giving reminders and being consistent, which ties into number 12, using Google Voice. That's the format for messaging and receiving phone calls that I use, because I can send my students a quick text beforehand and say, hey, don't forget we've got our session today at 2. And hey, our session's starting in 5 minutes. Are you going to make it? And so Google Voice is a great format to do that. You just add that app onto your phone. It gives you a whole nother number, but you only have to worry about carrying it around and having the single phone. Number 13, groups. Consider groups. If any of your students have things that they are dealing with, then you'll want to definitely encourage groups. Ask your students if that's something that they'd want to be a part of. And then, of course, be genuine. This is a new thing for everybody. I'm not going to call it a new norm, but it's just a new thing that we're all dealing with right now. And, if you're having a difficult time with adjusting to being at home, let them know. It's okay to let students know that this is new for you too, and you can understand what they're going through. Last but not least, we're professionals. You got this. Don't panic.